Hey, Kevin, check your sound really quick. We're getting told that we're on mute.
Oh my goodness.
Might have some flying monkeys going on.
I did it. I can't tell you how many times I have started a live stream with no sound. It's my signature thing. And yeah, am I the only one who can't hear? No, you're not. We can't hear you. You're right. I can't hear you, Kevin. You're right. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's start that over.
Let's start all over again.
All right, so I'm Kevin Lyons. I'm the Executive Director of the Rheumatology Nurses Society. We're having an amazing week this week at the RNS Annual Conference, and we just want to welcome everyone to the Facebook, the live stream tonight. We are doing the virtual town hall here for RNS, and first off, I'd like to also welcome all of our attendees for our annual conference. And you probably heard the applause, so there's the applause again. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. There's actually 2 or 3 places that you can watch us tonight. There's YouTube on the RNS channel. You're going to see a lot of activity coming on YouTube. And then, can everyone hear me? Actually, give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, just so I can see all this feedback. All right. So we have, oh, great. AJ Nelly, love you, Kevin. Thank you so much, AJ. And then we have some moderators in Rheumatology Nurses Society. We have, thank you everyone for joining. Amber's helping us out in our chat tonight. And then, hey, we have Catherine from Skip Pack, Pennsylvania. Wow, that's a name.
Catherine Whitteman, former Excellence of Rheumatology Nursing Award winner. Hi,
that's
Catherine.
Right. Hey, Catherine. So, hey, let me introduce our guest tonight. So, as you may know, conference week for the RNS is a very intensive, busy week. Our whole team puts a ton of activity and details and everything in there. And the people, though, who work the most is our amazing board of directors. So they were moderating the conference all day yesterday and today, and we were in this conversation, and Kathy Patty Rusk and Linda Grinnell Merrick, they send their love to you, and Carrie Beach, and they were just like, we are so exhausted. Can Lyons Den, can our management partner, can you guys just take care of Town Hall tonight? Because it's important. We want to make sure that you bring in the broadcast. And we said absolutely. So we are crashing Town Hall, and we have a lot of great updates for you for annual conference. So definitely, while we're saying hello, tell us where you're from. And again, conference attendees, thank you so much. So you can watch us on YouTube. You can watch us on the Facebook like group. But we have a brand new thing that we've debuted during the annual conference this year, and that is the Rheumatology Nurses Community, which is a private Facebook group for the RNS. So if you haven't already, we encourage you to go and take a look at that and join us in that group. We're going to have a lot of unique activities. So we have some amazing people on screen tonight. First off, Katrina Belk, our virtual conference host. If you're part of the annual conference, you've been in touch with Katrina. Katrina, so good to have you. And I'm going to ask everyone to kind of tell us where they're from and what they do for RNS. Of course, Sadie Montanas. Sadie, it's so good to see you tonight. And Amy Phillips, it's so good to have you. So why don't you guys introduce yourselves, tell us what your title is, and what you do for the RNS.
Cool. Well, it is great to be on the screen this week. Usually I get to chat with you all in the comments, so it's nice for me to get to say hello to you audibly, but we're glad you're here for another week of Town Hall. I am Katrina Belk, as Kevin said, and I live in Southern California, and my primary role within the RNS is chapters and membership development. So if you're interested in becoming a member, joining a chapter, anyway, getting more involved in the RNS, email chapters@rnsnurse.org, and I'd be happy to connect with you. And yes, that was a shameless plug for chapters.
You gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so my name is Amy Phillips. Some of you guys may know me. I'm the Senior Director of Business Development on behalf of RNS. I oversee the advocacy as well as the chapter with Kat. Kat is a wonderful addition to the chapter development team and membership. And then I also am in charge of having the wonderful pleasure of working with the pharma partners and being able to secure lots of great sponsorships for you guys for this wonderful conference, as well as some different grant opportunities, and they just really support us. And so I get the opportunity to work on those relationships as well. So happy to be here with you guys tonight.
It's great having you, Amy. Sadie.
I'm Sadie, and I am in Dallas, Texas. And I am the newest member of this team. And I'm so excited to be here right now. It's also my first time on camera doing a live. But my role, I am the education coordinator for the RNS. So I work on the projects that we offer CNE contact hours with for our nurses, whether it's CNEs or PA credits, all of our courses that are on the LMS, the grant projects that come in, working on the education side of that. And with the conference, I've been working very closely with our all-star faculty team, making sure that the presentations that are being presented are high quality, accredited sessions that all of our attendees will leave with a lot of CNE hours.
And Sadie's been doing a phenomenal job. She works with Brittany Freud, who's our Senior Director of Education and Administration. And it's amazing how much work that goes into, just one session, right? We have a lead nurse planner, Kim Sheremy. She's a phenomenal accreditation guru, if you will. And so Sadie works with her, and as we do our needs analysis and we look for these gaps in clinical practice and in education gaps, with the ANCC, when they classify you as a accredited provider, there's a lot of responsibility with that. However, the RNS, through the board of directors, the education committee, our lead nurse planner, Kim Sheremy, Sadie, Brittany, and team, achieved accredited providership with distinction. And as soon as that happens, you fight to keep it, and you fight it with excellence, and you look for the best outcomes, both educational outcomes, clinical outcomes possible, to where the accredited education shapes patient care. And so Sadie, it's a critical role. She's such a significant cog in the wheel of what makes RNS go. So we first off want to give a shout out to the board for actually trusting us with your live stream tonight. I was telling Kathy, I was like, hey, we're not responsible for what happens tonight, but we're probably going to have fun. However, we're going to share with you a lot of details about the annual conference. Katrina also, she brings a lot of culture into RNS. So a lot of member engagement pieces you see, and a lot of the community building that you see comes from her. Now, Amy, Sadie, and Katrina are just three people of a team. I think we're around, internal staff, we're around 13, 14 people. And then, of course, we have the board. And so you really have about 22 people, including the board and the team, that we push out all the education, the things that RNS produces. In our annual conference this year, as you know, we're going to have to say the C word, COVID. It's been a struggle earlier this year, but I can't tell you how thrilled we are with the outcome of how our conference is being produced. And if you haven't registered, here's what's really great is if you're a member, registration is still very inexpensive. You can still register. And even though you may say, hey, I can't take off work or I missed a lot of the conference, with every registration, you get a VIP pass. And that VIP pass is a 30-day access to all the recorded sessions. We're recording all of the accredited sessions. We have the exhibitor experience up. We have everything there that you'll have access to for 30 days, and you'll be able to get continuing education credits for that. We've heard a lot from our members and from our board that because there's not a lot of travel right now, and because of all the effects of the pandemic, some of our nurses and advanced practice providers are having to work a little harder this year to achieve their minimum contact hours for their licensure. Well, RNS, this is a great way to come in and you'll get, I'm not going to quote it because I don't have the number in front of me, but you'll get quite a few credits as well as pharmacologic credits, for this year. So Amy, talk to us about the conference experience this year and stuff. And also, this is not just a broadcast so that we can hear ourselves speak. Let us know, what questions do you have about annual conference or the RNS? And we're here to definitely answer those. So talk to us, Amy.
Yeah, so it's been a little bit different, right? We're in this virtual environment. And so I've had the fun, exciting opportunity to pivot and help make with the team this virtual experience with our sponsorships shine just as much as it would in person. And I think that the team and the supporters have been phenomenal in helping us partner and do this. So we started last night with Paint a Picture, and actually I might have mine. Let me grab that. Sorry, I thought it was a little closer. Did everybody paint their picture?
Yours looks so good.
It's
So paint a picture. It's there's Sadie's. All right. And
beautiful.
Paint a
Sadie.
picture is such a special.
It will be for sale.
It's part. We should have an auction for the foundation, the RNS Foundation.
I was going to say, these will go
What I
to
was
the
thinking.
RNS Foundation.
So paint a picture is such a special part of the culture of annual conference. Leslie Hanner, she does such an amazing job guiding us through the art. And this past Wednesday, we did it. We did virtual paint a picture. I mean, we had a ton of people participate, and they're sending in photos and everything else. It was amazing. And we're talking about maybe doing something special like that for the Facebook group sometime here in the future, to where we'll have, if you're a member of the rheumatology nurses community, we might do a private paint a picture sometime coming up, because it was such a great networking experience, and it kind of broke that wall and barrier. So awesome. And good job, Amy, on your painting.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. I mean, if you guys did join us for Paint a Picture and you want to throw your picture in the chat, feel free to share it with us. I'm sure we'd love to see it.
Absolutely.
So thank you to Gilead Inflammation for the support of that. We were able to have so much fun still. Thank you, Leslie, for doing that. And then today we actually, and then before that, we had our first product theater, which was the UCB sponsored one. Thank you to UCB for that. Amid impact, underdiagnosed and undertreated. So that was a wonderful time as well, with Dr. Gwenesta Milton and Ann Broadwell as well. Yeah. And then we also, today, we kicked off with GSK and another product theater. So thank you for your support, GSK. And then we followed up with another product theater with Horizon today. So those were wonderful experiences as well. Very engaging in conversations. I love that the attendees are able to actually type right at their keyboards. So there was a ton of questions. I don't know, Kevin, what do you think? Really engaging, right?
We were actually blown away. One of the big challenges that we took on is, back in April or March, when we really started to see the groundswell of the pandemic, we had to decide, are we going to hold the annual conference? Are we going to hold it a hybrid conference? Are we going to do it virtual? And if we do it virtual, what are we going to lose that we're going to have to come up with a plan B for? And one of the things that the board really set out is, despite whatever happens, we cannot lose our connection to our members. We cannot lose that connection to everyone who participates. And so that was a high order for our team to say, how do we do this? And man, we literally were switching out software platforms and doing development even days before conference launched. And I believe that we came up with a really innovative way. So when everyone who's attending conferences on with us tonight, you know this, but if you're not attending, you're actually watching either on the mobile app or on the website. And on the website, there's the video that plays, and the video, and I'll tell you about the format we're doing, which has been really successful so far. But next to the video is an engagement platform. And you can leave comments, you can do polls, you can do quizzes, you can do raffles. So we're actually doing raffles. I mean, this afternoon we gave away a set of AirPods, we gave away a Kindle, we gave away a Yeti, tons of $25 gift cards. So all during the breaks and everything, we're like giving away things, and I mean, everyone's like getting into it. But then there's
you
also
you get a prize.
That's right. It's Oprah all over again. Another fun thing is there's these emojis that people can react to, and there's one that is a little monkey. You know what? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I might be able to
Sadie,
do
what's
this.
her favorite emoji? Sadie and Kat.
Let me see here.
It's kind of an inside joke. Like, if you're not there, that probably looks silly. So you've got to come.
So currently, our conference website, we're doing some maintenance on. So if I'm messing up our developers, let me know. But let me switch over here. So you can see here, this is kind of like where the video sits on the left. We're offline right now because the conference isn't going on. But here it is. It's Pulse. And Pulse, I'll give you all a monkey. So all day long on conference, and we have hundreds of people like giving us all of these, this feedback going on, which is like so funny. But it's so like helpful, for us, because we measure all of this feedback as sentiment as we go through all of the education. So it's super fun. So that's just giving you a little preview of what that is. So what's funny, it's live. So any type of live stream, one of the first things that you have to do is recognize that this is not broadcast television. This is sending things over the internet, and making sure that they can come off on the other side. And I'm hearing that I have an echo, so just give me 1 second. Let me make sure I have this set up here. We're like all on our live stream set, but
yeah. So I'll think a couple more sponsors, Kevin, while you're doing that.
Oh, absolutely. Thanks.
So again, this has been a great conference so far, but it could not be possible without a few more of our partners. Thank you to all of our platinum corporate members, all of our diamond and gold, silver members. Thank you to Helio Rheumatology for the gamification sponsorship, as well as being a wonderful media partner to us. Yeah. Lily for the web hosting sponsorship. All of our national advocacy sponsors, Novartis, our pediatric sponsor. We're just very grateful for all of your sponsorships, and we could not do this without you. So,
absolutely. We appreciate each one of you, and there's a big part of the ecosystem of rheumatology. Having them, they're the MSLs and the sales reps, the scientific side of it, the grants and medical education side, and we just appreciate and many of them are our friends that we meet with, and we know each other on a continual basis. So anyways, that's just an example of the engagement. I know that it may seem silly to send up a little I can't hear you monkey, but it created this really unique sentiment feedback that we started getting from our audience, to where live stream is not television broadcast. Live stream is you're sending a huge amount of information over the internet, hoping that everyone on the other side of that has enough internet connection that they can receive that information and hopefully send us some information back. And this gave us like this back channel sentiment. So like if there was an audio issue or if the live stream dropped, and I can tell you, I don't care how big of an organization you are, at some point you're going to have your live stream go out on you, and you're going to have to recover it quickly. And so that gave us some really cool feedback. So thank you for all the attendees that participated in that for sure. So so we had great sponsors, we had great commercial support, and we still do. There's still time. We have tomorrow, we have Saturday. Tomorrow night is the President's Awards and social hour. If you go to our annual conference, normally you'd have the President's Dinner, which is always fun, and we decorate and everything. But tomorrow night's going to be a special time, so we're going to be recognizing the Nurse of the Year. We're going to be revealing who that is. We're going to be revealing some of our poster winners. We have posters this year. We also have some board members that have some recognition. Just lots of secrets that are going to be coming out tomorrow night. So, Sadie, let's talk about education. So all of this is kind of fun, and we always want to make it fun. But at the end of the day, if we're not producing the educational outcomes that the nurses and the advanced practice providers need, why do it? It's not a variety show. It's a serious thing that we undertake. So let's talk through some of the education that we've had and some that are coming up, if we maybe want to take a look at the agenda.
Sure. So we have had so much fun, and it's so amazing to be having fun while we're learning. And so far, we have hosted 4.75 hours of continuing nursing education contact hours, with 2.25 of those being pharmacotherapeutic hours as well. But we still have an opportunity to earn 7.5 more CNE hours. So that's 12.25 CNE contact hours total that nurses and APPs have the chance to earn by attending our conference, whether they're doing it live or they're going back and watching education sessions over the next 30 days. So there's a huge opportunity to get those hours in that you need to have anyway. So why not come here and get those? These sessions are so incredibly high quality. Engagement is at an all-time high in these sessions. And we have, like I said earlier, assembled a star-studded rheumatology lineup of faculty. So we kicked off this morning with Dr. Youssef Yazici, who, if you know anything about Behçet's disease, you've probably heard his name. He's one of the biggest names in that disease state. He gave us the latest and greatest information, treatments on Behçet's disease. And shortly after him, we had the brilliant Dr. Christopher Richland join us, who is currently a professor with the Department of Medicine at the University of Rochester. in their allergy, immunology, and rheumatology branch. So try to say that 10 times.
Right.
He brought us, he brought us the latest research that was just published at ULAR in June. So we had incredibly updated information that a lot of our attendees hadn't heard yet. So if you don't know what was just released at ULAR, you should come watch this session.
And Sadie, I have to interrupt. I got breaking news here. Kim Sheremy is watching us on YouTube, and she said, "Great, Sadie, awesome. Thanks, Kim. I hope all's well."
You said I was doing a good job? Okay.
Yep.
That's like the greatest compliment I can get from our lead nurse planner. So
Kim, I just have to say,
trying to live to make her proud.
Kim is, I won't go into all the detail, but let's just say, she is one of the leading experts in accreditation, and she has been such a great asset to the RNS to be our lead nurse planner. And so, Kim, thank you for everything you do. As you know, the team respects you highly, and we just appreciate making us amazing and great in the area of continuing education. So, but yeah, Sadie, so Dr. Richland, some probably know this or may not know this, as technically he's kind of Linda Grinnell Merrick's boss, she says. They collaborate together, but he is an amazing bench scientist. I mean, he gets to work on the molecules and all the other things, and just the fact that these great amazing minds, on Behçet's and on psoriatic arthritis and spondyloarthropathies, recognize the value of the nurse and the advanced practice provider to make time to come and present this education. It's not just, and we did the format as like a video, like a 30-minute video where they're presenting with slides, but then, and we recorded that over the past couple of weeks, but then they came back to actually do a live Q&A, a moderated live Q&A, to answer the questions real time via Skype and streamed. And I think that's amazing that they spend that time to make sure that the team, that the whole office team of the rheumatologist, the rheumatology nurse, the advanced practice provider, and everyone else, and we have LPNs and LVNs and MAs that also consume our content. So anyways, I'm always kind of overwhelmed at this quality of presenters coming and participating. So go ahead, Sadie.
No, it's been a great opportunity for the biggest names in this field to interact with those nurses and APPs. I mean, it's just a great opportunity for our attendees to learn from them and get to speak with them firsthand and get that knowledge straight from them. So I agree with you. Now, we would not have a conference in 2020 if we did not discuss, of course, COVID-19. And so it was amazing to have Dr. Christopher Palma with the University of Rochester as well, who is one of the doctors who's actually working very closely on the vaccine. So to hear from him and not only hear about COVID and its current state from one of the brilliant minds that's working to fix this problem that's around the world, he taught us he taught us about the risk specific to rheumatology patients, but also how to understand risk mitigation for the rheumatology patient through different methods that our nurses and APPs can administer. So we were incredibly lucky to have another brain such as his join us during, this current state of our world, and the reason that we're all at home right now. And
then with him being paired with Monica Ritchie on that session was amazing. So having what's happening with the vaccine development, but then Monica, and you may not know this, but behind the scenes, she's a former board member of the RNS. She's an amazing nurse practitioner. She lives in New York City. She lives, I believe, in Manhattan. And she was on the front lines as a nurse practitioner. She got recruited into the hospital wards to actually, care for and work with COVID patients. And her story, she only had about 15 minutes to share her piece of this presentation, but being able to talk with her, she was on one of our COVID town halls that we did previously. It was like wartime conversations. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it's she would talk to us about telemedicine and some of the technologies that she's seeing and some of the upcoming technologies that we may see and the future of telemedicine that COVID is ushering into the world right now. So really incredible to see and give us something to look forward to, because all of our practices are going to change because of that. So last night, I did not mention this, but we had as our keynote Carolyn Jones, who is a documentarian and filmmaker, and she tracks nurses. She films nurses, and a lot of our nurses, most of our nurses had heard of her because they've seen her work in their field. And I had the unique opportunity to chat with her backstage, in our virtual backstage. And I'm not a nurse myself, but I told her, just watching that 45-minute presentation that she did, I feel like I maybe chose the wrong field and that I should be a nurse. I mean, if I ever have a career change, Carolyn Jones has inspired me. I'm not going to, Kevin, because I love my job, but if anything ever happened, Carolyn Jones has made me want to be a nurse. So if you missed her yesterday, or if you had technical difficulties and you're a registered attendee of our conference, please go back and watch that. It's heartwarming. You'll be inspired to do the job that you go in every day to do. And if you haven't registered, please register and watch all of these sessions. But Kevin, there is more coming. I mean, if you thought that what I just mentioned was mind-blowing, tomorrow and Saturday.
Let's hold some suspense. So Gwendolyn Ayers asks, so will the recorded sessions be on the conference app or the RNS website? How can I access them with my sign-on? So what we're going to be doing is at the end of the live conference, which ends on Saturday, and I'm not going to tell you exactly when the videos are going to be up, but we're trying to get them up as soon as possible because we have a lot of development and editing to do on those. We are going to have the videos with the live Q&A available. It will probably be the beginning of next week. I don't want to give you a specific date because I don't want to disappoint if we miss a deadline with that, because we have a lot of work to transition the site. But those will all be on the conference website, the rnsevents.org website, which currently is offline because we're doing some maintenance on. So yes, so all of those will be up, and they are accredited for 30 days. So when you watch the session, if you participate in the pre-test and post-test and do the process, you definitely will also receive credit for those. So thank you, Gwendolyn, for that question.
Great question.
Yeah, and I think, Sadie, this sounds like another really great opportunity to remind them about that 30-day pass that they get with that. I mean, it sounds like so much education that you're referring to already. I mean, they'll have tons of time to go be able to rewatch these sessions again and again. Right. So I love that we're being able to offer that this year.
Check this out.
Right, because we're not even halfway through.
Saudi is watching us from West Africa, Austria, Guyana. So great to have you. I know.
Awesome.
We're from
Welcome.
California, Texas, and Florida. And the United States. So thank you so much for coming on. And then we also have. Okay, so Wanda, you've had difficult time getting online. So we are actually making some changes to the website. We've had such an overwhelming response to this conference, which is a great problem to have. And almost, I mean, we anticipated to have a good response, but we've had an overwhelming response. And so thank you so much for your patience. And Wanda, you're from Charleston, South Carolina. Awesome, it's great. I lived in Greenville, South Carolina for 3 years, and Charleston is gorgeous. Beautiful. We have some good friends there. So Wanda, tomorrow, if you could reach out to customer support on the conference page on the bottom right-hand corner is the little icon. Reach out to them and let them know that you have some problems, and we're going to make sure that you're taken care of. But yes, the videos, you won't miss any of the content because the videos will be available for replay. So thanks for letting us know that. So tomorrow, though, it's like and wait, there's more, right?
Yes. Would you like to hear about tomorrow?
I would love to hear about tomorrow.
Okay. Yes. Well, we're going to begin our education sessions. Again, these are accredited education sessions where our attendees who actively engage and participate will will have the opportunity to earn CNE contact hours. And we are going to begin those sessions with Dr. Alvin Wells, who is going to be speaking about inflammatory eye disease. And again, he's at the top of his class when it comes to this disease state. So we keep saying how incredibly blessed we are to have these faculty members, but it's because they truly are some of the best in the, not only in the country, but in the world. Then we're talking about systemic onset juvenile idiopathic arthritis with one of our board members, Carolyn Zick. We have a panel on how dermatology and gastroenterology overlap with rheumatology. And we're going to be talking about autoimmune hepatitis, periodic fever syndromes, axial spondyle. Kevin, I always mess up this word. I
give it to you. So axial spondyloarthritis arthritis and non-radiographic axial spondyloarthritis. So the trade term is, XSPA and NR-XSPA. And so I kind of just like go down to that because it's like, don't ask me to say, methotrexate correctly, so.
Or pronounce SLE completely.
But it's, here's an interesting thing, Sadie, I'm not sure if you know this part of it, but so radiographic and non-radiographic XSPA. Now, I'm not a nurse, I'm not a physician, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an accountant. But this is fascinating information that I found out is non-radiographic and radiographic XSPA, they did not have an ICD-10 code assigned to some of the diagnosis of that. And because of that, an ICD-10 code is needed to actually be able to bill specifically for treatment of those diseases. And if you're not billing specifically for treatment for those diseases, there's a significant data gap in the collection of how many patients are presenting with those diseases, which creates this whole cascade effect of things. And I'm probably, if anyone from NICA or NORM or anyone else, I'm probably butchering some of that. So I'm not an expert. I'm just talking about it. This is narrative.
You got it right.
So with
that's actually the advocacy priority, Kevin.
I know, right? Just recently, and you would think all you have to do, you need a new ICD-10 code. All you do is go into a computer and you add a new code. No, it took 2 years, and they just recently, within just a couple of weeks, honored them and went through all the legislative process and all of the process that's there, and there's now ICD-10 codes for those disease states. So then now we're going to get all this new data coming out, which will hopefully illuminate what the reach of that disease is. And so it's so timely and it's actually Linda Grinnell-Merrick who's actually going to be showing and talking or presenting on the differences between radiographic and non-radiographic XSPA. So anyways, it's going to be a great session. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm learning from you, Kevin. So
learn from them. That. They're the experts.
Let's start with how to pronounce these disease states.
Thanks to all that made this conference possible. Hey, that's right. It took the nurses, it took the RNS, it took the team, but it also took our supporters and grant funds and everything else. So we appreciate you being here for sure. I hear keystrokes. We're all multitasking.
It's not me for once.
No, I could go on. I could spend this whole hour talking about our high quality education sessions. I'm really excited because our team really did put together a great lineup. We had a nursing cohort review all of our sessions. And so I'm really excited. The feedback that we've had so far has been amazing. And in addition to disease states, we also have an advocacy session tomorrow with Tay Kapanos. And, all of our nurses, you're working so hard within the office and in homes now. But how do you best advocate for your practice in your local community and your state government? And she's going to come and teach our attendees how to do that, what's the best way, how to make sure that your voice is being heard in those government systems. And so we've got more than just disease states. We've got how to effectively be a nurse in and out of the office. Right. So I will get off.
Sadie, I'm going to actually interrupt you right there and put a little plug in. As some of you guys are aware that due to, sorry to say the C word again, Corona this year, the COVID virus, we had to postpone our advocacy day that we had planned for in person in April. And so we were so bummed to have to do that. But as you guys all understand, given the circumstances, we are going to rebuild that into a virtual experience. So stay tuned, because there'll be a new announcement coming soon between now and the end of quarter 4 to share how you guys can get engaged with us from the advocacy priorities of RNS. And we're really excited to share that, including scope of practice. So that's why I had to slide right in there and say, we cannot wait for that session tomorrow.
And
perfect timing.
Speaking
Amy.
of scope of practice, so we've had a sneak peek of all of these, because remember, we recorded a lot of their presentation over the past couple of weeks, and then they come on live with us to expound upon that and answer your questions. So it's a hybrid, recorded and in person, or not in person, but a live stream. And we had a chance to look, and I'm not going to steal any of the thunder from Tay's session. However, let's just say she's going to break it down to you, that she's going to demystify it and like spoon feed how to get involved with advocacy. And advocacy is not scary, but the perspective, though, is because of COVID, a lot of the executive orders that have been passed has changed the scope of practice for nurses and advanced practice providers, and more specifically nurses and APRNs, advanced practice registered nurses. And so there's expanded scope, and we believe that it's possible, if we do the right steps as the whole nursing community, not just rheumatology, but all of nursing, that we could possibly preserve those expanded guidelines that have come out of the executive orders and show the value and the worth of the nurse and the advanced practice nurse in practice. So her session is so on point on pushing that forward and showing us how to do it. So you don't want to miss Tay tomorrow.
Yeah, Kevin, I totally agree with you. I mean, not as a nurse, but just I felt empowered. I was like, I could go do this. And
Yep.
I'm not a nurse, so it's a big, scary term, but you will feel empowered walking out of that session. So we're really thankful she could join us.
All right, Sadie, what's up next?
What's up next? Well, I was hoping that Kat could share a little bit about what she's doing with membership throughout this time, and what can we look forward to after the conference?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. So after all these incredible sessions tomorrow, as Kevin mentioned, we love our members. We love being able to celebrate our members. We love being able to celebrate their accomplishments and what they're doing throughout the year with their patients. And so tomorrow night we're having a beautiful recession. Our President's Social Hour and Awards will be taking place, and so that's where we're going to be able to honor our Excellence in Rheumatology Nursing Award winner. So we're really excited about that. We get to make some fun announcements tomorrow night. So it's just going to be a really, really great opportunity to celebrate what's happening within the Rheumatology Nurses Society. And I think once you come and you get to experience that, you can't walk away from conference and not want to be a member. There's so much more of what you see now on the inside of this. So this is kind of just a forward facing of what we offer. But once you get inside, once you become a member, you're going to hear a lot more about these sessions that Sadie talks about that are only available to members for the accredited portion of it. So you definitely want to get involved. Chapters is where my heart is at. It's just a bunch of like-minded people coming together, figuring out, how do we do this better? How can we be the best resource we can be for our patients? And again, you can only be in a chapter if you're a member. So I really want to encourage you guys to go ahead, join the RNS as a member, take full advantage. There's plenty of other benefits that I could just talk on for hours about what it means to be a member and what that will be for you. But definitely check us out. If you email chapters@rnsnurse.org, we'll connect right away. We'll get a meeting and scheduled, and we'll get you guys all connected. So that's a little bit about what we have coming up.
And also,
Kat,
go ahead, Sadie.
Go on, Kevin. Well, I was just going to say, being a member right now, if you haven't joined yet, right now would be a really, really good time, because not only you can talk more about this, but not only are you getting access to this conference for now until the next 30 days, but the price of the conference when you become a member is also excellent.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of financial wins with being a member. So it might be a bigger upfront price for you, but you get a bigger discount with annual conference registration. Last year, we were able to provide our forums for free. So there's just a lot of opportunities to receive a free education on the back end once you are a member. And as you were saying, Kevin, with everything going on, it's harder to get into some sessions to get your accreditation, your credit hours. So we're just really thankful that we can offer those through our membership.
And something really
Speaking
unique
of, I mean,
on the website is if you're an attendee, or if you register today to become an attendee on the actual RNS Events.org website, you can actually set up an appointment to talk with someone about chapters and talk with someone about membership. So take advantage of that tool if you haven't already. So go ahead, Amy.
Yeah, and I've already had a few people message me setting up meetings, so I'm really excited to connect with those.
Yeah, we can't wait to hear all about that. And I was just going to say, in line with that, Kevin, we have a little bit of announcement how they can maybe get some more CNEs by the end of this year.
Yep.
Well, what's coming up? Should we tell them?
So we've had such an overwhelming response to the RNS conference that we pivoted to a virtual conference. We reimagined to a virtual conference. We've already had in the works a Q4 virtual conference. So we're actually going to be doing another virtual event. And I have to tell you, with all the engagement that we saw today, I mean, we literally had hundreds and hundreds of people interacting with us and giving us feedback, asking questions to the presenters. And I mean, we were running out of time over and over and over again. Even the product theaters. I mean, I've never seen so much engagement in product theaters as this virtual platform that we're on. And we're so thankful. We're so grateful for this. And so we are doing a Q4 virtual conference. And where are the dates, Amy?
November 13th and 14th. So we are still finalizing the schedule for you. We're in conference week right now, but we are so excited to be able to share that more with you soon.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be a phenomenal event. We have learned, I mean, this is kind of like, we're getting our master's degree in virtual events right now, or our PhD in virtual events. And, oh, hey, Barbara, it's so good to see you. Barbara's like the most faithful person.
She's so faithful.
Oh my goodness, she's in Cleveland. Hey,
she's from Ohio.
That's right.
Gotta love Ohio.
I know. We were just talking with Carrie Beach, our historian, and then she had her Ohio plaque up on the wall and everything else. So you Ohioans, you guys are definitely amazing. And let's see here. Oh my goodness. So Sada, and I might be pronouncing your name wrong, does RNS have any chapters in Africa? I don't know, Katrina. You might have to go to Africa and set up a chapter.
Hey, we can arrange that. At this time, due to some, I don't know what the correct terminology is for it, we aren't able to go internationally yet with our chapters, but we have been working on that. So that's something we're hoping to do in the future. However, go ahead and email me, chapters@rnsnurse.org, and I can probably get you plugged into one of our online chapters. So it's kind of for those members who are in remote areas that we can't connect them to their own chapter. We're having them come together in one chapter online. So go ahead and email me. I'll see if there's a way we can go ahead and get you connected to that chapter.
You should actually mention a little bit in COVID, during this whole time where we've had to socially distance and it's been lonely for some people. Do you want to speak for a second on how chapters have been able to meet that need in this time and how they can get involved in chapters?
Yeah, so our chapters have definitely had to pivot, and not only are they pivoting because they need to, maintain social distancing guidelines, but their kids are home and they're working long hours, and so it's a crazy time for our nurses. And so usually, pre-March, our chapters would meet together at least once a quarter. They'd connect over a meal, they'd share a presentation, or something along those lines. And once COVID hit, we couldn't. We had to essentially say, hey, chapters, we need you to halt for a moment. We want to make sure we're keeping you safe and we're, responding to this as we should. So our chapters are now turning inward and starting to do what we're doing with this virtual conference on a much smaller scale. But we're using Skype and Zoom and, group FaceTimes to go ahead and host our chapter meetings. So what we were hoping to progress to, we were forced to learn through COVID. And so I think it's really going to help our chapters propel and continue to move forward with how we can help out in the community.
Yeah. And Barbara, thank you. I love this info. Joni, yeah, I agree. Joni, she is technically she's still finishing out her term as Nurse of the Year, and
Yes, she
Joni
is.
was
Oh,
recognized
yeah.
Nurse of the Year. So you have until tomorrow night. You got to wear the crown. You got to do the passing. So Joni, it's so good to
Joni
have
is
you
an
on tonight.
incredible chapter leader.
She
Incredible
is.
chapter leader. We're so thankful for the work that she does and just her heart behind chapters. And so, Joni, thank you for everything you've done.
Absolutely.
And continue to do for your chapter.
So, Barbara, you have a question. Do you
Oh.
have to be an RN to join the chapter and attend conferences? So, the chapters are designed for nurses. However, there are categories of membership with the RNS that are not RNs. We have a general category that can be, non-registered nurse. We have categories for, LP and LVN MAs, and so forth. And, we have student categories. So technically, no. Annual conference, no problem. You can join. You do not have to be that. We have patients that join. We actually, a unique dynamic that we see in the RNS is there's a lot of patients who are involved in healthcare that have, and patients that, are identified with rheumatic disease, they're involved in healthcare, that they come and they consume our education, and they go to a conference because they find that the education that is provided by our planning committee for nurses and advanced practice providers is consumable. It's approachable. It's not med school, but it's really teaching about immunology or rheumatic disease, and like especially our handling the hard question booklets that we have on our website and we make available. And there were also some new ones. We just had one out on Behçet's, and then the other one was on understanding rheumatic disease, I believe, right? It was an
Answering
overview
the
of
hard
that.
questions.
Yeah, Kevin, I want to speak to that really quickly.
Sure.
I came in to Lion's Den. Science is just not my thing. If my science professors and my science teachers saw what I was doing now, they'd probably have a heart attack. So I came in with very, very little knowledge, no knowledge in this area, and it's been so easy to learn through these conferences because of the way we present it and through our handling the hard questions. That actually last few months there was a member of my family who was getting pretty sick, and her doctors weren't figuring out what it was, and I said, hey, based off what I've been learning through my job, I really think this is what is going on. And so, 3 months later, a couple tests later, they were like, hey, can I start testing for this? And sure enough, that's what it was. So
Wow.
it's kind of these crazy things where.
So you unofficially diagnosed your first patient.
I did, yes.
We don't pretend to be that.
unofficially.
However, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, don't recommend that. But my family member was able to take this information to their healthcare provider and say, yeah, here's what I've seen. And they're like, oh, your levels of this and that do match that. Now we can start monitoring you and, helping you in this area. So if you're not within the medical healthcare profession, there's definitely still something here for you to learn to help those that you care about.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
I personally I don't have a story. I have not diagnosed anyone yet, like that. But one of our sessions today was on TMJ arthritis, and that's something that I have. And it was broken down in a way that was definitely at the nursing level. I mean, I as a patient didn't even know everything in that session, but I learned a lot as a patient. And so just to piggyback off of what you were saying, yes, absolutely. There is something for everyone. And I'm like you, I'm not even sure I could define what an autoimmune disease was. And now anytime I hear someone with RA or PSA or I see a commercial for it, I'm like, I know it. So I've had a really, really good time learning through the RNS alongside of everybody else.
So I kind of had the
specialty.
opposite effect. So when we were editing the core curriculum, the first edition, which the second edition is in the works. It's coming. COVID kind of had RNS delay that a little bit because we had to pivot and produce and convert this in virtual conference. But I was helping edit the first one, not from a scientific standpoint, but more of like the typography and the layout and permissions and all of that. And so I've literally read the entire core. And it's amazing how many symptoms of those conditions. You wake up with a stiff neck or a lower stiff back, and all of a sudden you're like, no, that is not ankylosing spondylitis. No, I am sorry. And so you kind of have to start sifting through those with that. And so Barbara, she says, I work for a hospital in IT. I have CPC accreditation. Awesome. Actually, I have a big background in
Cool.
IT. So yeah, definitely, Barbara, you're welcome. You're kind of like an honorary member almost, just because because of how faithful you are on
I don't think she's missed
Live.
Thursday yet.
I was gonna say, I think she gets perfect attendance award.
Yeah.
I know, right? Right. Awesome. So we have these great sessions coming up. There's still time to register, and it's not, the live experience has been super cool. And it's really kind of broken down some of those barriers, and especially when we started with Paint a Picture. Everyone was like uploading their pictures and showing their pictures, and then we were streaming those back out. Everyone had a great time. I really encourage you, join the rheumatology nurses community. We're starting to open it up. The first people who join are all the attendees for the conference, and we've kind of kept it that way exclusively, but we're now going to start opening it up to more and more people. And the purpose of the Facebook group, so we have the Facebook page, which you might be working or watching on tonight. But the Facebook group is going to be a little bit more of an intimate setting of like-minded. It's going to be moderated. We're going to ask that all of the conversation stays on topic. It's not a place to soapbox. It's not a place for political or religious or any of the other things. It's a place so that healthcare professionals who are helping each other, and possibly even patients that are helping each other understand or navigate some of the things within rheumatology, can come together and share some of those experiences. So we think it's going to be a very special place for everyone. So definitely join the Facebook group, register for annual conference. You're going to enjoy it. And here's something else, is everyone got a conference in a box. So we thought it was important. If you ever came to a in-person conference with the RNS, we have always, through the sanctioning of the board of directors, we always want to make sure that the nurses feel valued, that they're recognized as special, and that they feel special and they're appreciated, to where they, they're looking forward to the education that they're getting. And so we've always had great conference bags and great, products in there with, logos on them and everything else, pens and cups and mugs and cool things. This year, and I don't want to completely spoil it if you haven't registered, because you do want to register, but we sent out a conference in a box. And we're still, while supplies last, sending out conferences in the box out to everyone. So in the box, I gotta get out of frame because it won't focus. In the box, this is one of our products this year. It's a tumbler.
One of our favorite products.
Very useful.
So you get that. But the box is big. And then everyone who registered for Paint a Picture, we sent out hundreds of paint kits, because Gilead Inflammation, they sponsored it. So we sent everyone out an easel, a canvas, paint brushes, and paints. And we're virtual. We can't be together, but it doesn't mean that we can't come together. So we just appreciate everything there. So let's see, we have a couple other questions come in. So Barbara, you have ankylosing spondylitis. Thanks and love you guys. I hope you are well, Barbara.
Aww.
Definitely so. We'd love to hear more about your journey through your therapy and everything. And we just, AS, I've never had it, but from what I understand, that's a unique diagnosis. And thank goodness, it'd be curious how long you had symptoms before you were diagnosed, because that's one of the puzzles that's out there. Is how do we get earlier diagnosis? And I'm going to mess up the data, but I think it is, it's like between 6 and 9 years that a patient
7 years, right? Yeah.
Is it 7? Okay, 7 years that a patient will go with different symptoms, bilateral, morning stiffness, and all these other things before they're diagnosed. And so one of the things that we're working on with some of the partners like Novartis and Amgen and so forth that have therapies targeting, or therapies in the pipeline targeting AS, is how can we get better education out to primary care and PT/OT and chiropractors and sports facilities, so that if you have someone or you identify someone with that lower back pain or some of the telltale signs, that we can get them referred to rheumatology quicker. So thank you for sharing that. That's brave of you. Hey, what's the name of the Facebook group? Thanks, Joni. So the Facebook group is Rheumatology Nurses Community. If you go to our Facebook page, you can actually, let me see if I can just pull it up for you to show you how to find it real quick.
I'm going to say, I think Amber and the moderator is going to drop that link for you guys,
there you go. That's even better. So Amber, appreciate you moderating us tonight. So she'll drop that in there. Okay, so Jax has a really interesting question that I happen to know quite a bit about. Sorry, Sadie, I'm trying to find a place I can put this. It's not on everyone's faces. Here, I'll put it on my face. All right. So Jack says,
You're talking, lower it down.
hi, this is Jane from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Does anyone happen to know when the rheumatology certification is rolling out? I was previously told by the end of the year, if not sooner. All right, so a couple of things about certification. One is the RNS used to have a ANCC certification for rheumatology nursing. It was a board certification, and it was based on portfolio. And we had that for a couple of years. The ANCC had, I think it was 7 different societies that had board certification. I think it was us, I think it was the Holistic Nurses Association, Emergency Nurses had an Advanced Practice Provider certification, all of those based on portfolio, meaning that it was not an exam-based certification, but a portfolio-based. And they designed this portfolio-based certification to meet the needs of unique specialties, because rheumatology at the time was so new, it was very difficult to develop a psychometrically sound and defensible exam so that we could actually qualify for an accredited certification. That being said, the ANCC discontinued all of their portfolio certifications about 2 years ago. So since then, we've been looking at ways of developing certifications for rheumatology nurses and advanced practice providers. And out of that, we started developing content last year from our forum series to create a micro certification. So it's a lot different than a accredited board certification like what the ANCC would develop or a sanction, but a micro certification, meaning that if you take these, I think it was 9 hours of accredited education, at the end we would give you a micro certification in the clinical essentials of rheumatology. So that program is on our learning management system, and it's being continually rolled out as we go. COVID has delayed some things with us, but if you want to get in touch with us, we will definitely give you more information and make sure that you know what that is. So thank you for that question. Certification has always been, a piece of importance for us.
And she's one of our chapter leaders as well. So I'll make sure to reach out to you, and just as soon as I hear more about that, I'll make sure you hear about it as well.
Sure.
I know I recognize that name.
Yeah.
All right, Barbara. So when is the next conference and how do I register? Well, 2 things. One, you can register today for this conference and still have tomorrow and Saturday live and still have 30 days of access to all of the other education that we've already produced. So that's 1. 2 is, Amy, what's our dates?
November 13th and 14th. And final registration and schedule to come soon.
So November 13th and 14th, and can you send me the info? Yes, actually, if you reach out or private message, how should she reach out to us?
Send her email. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like my email is pretty easy. If we do the chapters one.
Sure.
Yep, it's not a traditional one, but send an email to chapters@rnsnurse.org. Or send us a private message on Facebook, and we'll make sure you get all the information you need.
Gotcha. And as a follow-up, she said she had a lot of problems developed during COVID. My family is a case study at UH of Cleveland, 3 generations. Wow. Actually, we may want, Barbara, it'd be great to make contact with you. We're always looking for patient advocates, especially like if we do education surrounding ankylosing spondylitis and those things, or even discussions and dialogues. I'm sure some of our board, which are our registered nurses and advanced practice providers, that they would love to have you as a resource available to them so that we can look at some education surrounding that. So thank you so much for sharing that tonight. Norma. Oh my goodness. Norma, you're a gem.
Oh, Norma.
So Norma is an amazing pediatric RN. She is she also leads the listserv for all the pediatric nurses. So if you want to be a part of that listserv and you're a pediatric nurse, nurse practitioner, advanced practice provider, reach out to us and we'll definitely connect you. So Norma said the conference in the box was like a Christmas gift that was filled with so many fun and useful treats. It was such a great surprise. Thank you, Norma. We're so happy that you just enjoyed that. And it's so good to have you as part of the conference that's there. So Sada again is a registered nurse, and I have worked in the rheumatology unit for almost 8 years. Oh my goodness, you're not a newbie at all. How do I get certification as a qualified rheumatology nurse? I would probably argue that you're already a qualified rheumatology nurse if you've been working there for 8 years. However, for certification, I would encourage you to visit rnsnurse.org. And Amber, if we can throw our website and maybe a link to the Learning Center. even if you're not a paid member, you can become a guest member of the RNS and consume a lot of our education that's on there. There's a ton of accredited education on there, and we're working to further that the platform to where we can offer these micro certifications. Now, again, they're not accredited certifications, and the difference is anyone can give you a piece of paper and say, congratulations, you're certified. But what's the value and the weight of that paper? RNS would stand behind it, but then eventually we want to look at getting other bodies, there are accrediting bodies that would vouch for the quality of education and how we measure that education with the actual nurse. So keep in touch with us. We would love to continue these conversations, for you. Okay, so here we got Angela. I was also looking for guidance on how to become certified in rheumatology when I graduate with my FMP in a few months. Awesome, FMP. I live in northern Michigan, where there's only one rheumatologist. I'd love to know what town that is. We have a lot of friends and stuff there up in Michigan. So the specialty of rheumatology, just a little bit of background. Rheumatology has only been a recognized specialty for, 2013, so under 10 years. 13? So it's been under 10 years. And that's really because if you think about the advent of biologic therapies was really kind of the expansion of rheumatology as a specialty, across all, from rheumatologists and everyone else. So the RNS took it on themselves to say, what's the difference between rheumatology and immunology, or rheumatology and just being a non-rheumatology specialty? And so we went to the American Nurses Association, and they have a process of formally becoming recognized as a specialty. So technically, we're one of the newest specialties out there because it's very difficult to be recognized as a specialty. I believe that, there's another one that just recently got recognized. It was the clinical trial nurses. Forgive me, I'm messing up the name. But it's very difficult to get recognized as a specialty. But the pathway to things like certifications and so forth is you become recognized as a specialty, then you have to develop the scope and standards of practice for rheumatology nursing. We did that a year after that. Then we developed the core curriculum. Then we had that initial certification that was out there. One of the unique things about rheumatology, unlike, let's say, oncology or emergency nursing and stuff like that, is there is not a requirement of being a certified rheumatology nurse to operate, or not to operate, but to practice in the specialty of rheumatology. So there's not that barrier of having to have a certification. So most of the nurses and APRNs who seek certification, they seek it to show an expertise in, not necessarily as to get into an employment, but actually to challenge themselves in their own career development. So, to kind of answer your question is, we're coming up with some ways that you can showcase your expertise and your knowledge, transferred knowledge and competency within rheumatology, but there's not a formal certification that is globally recognized. However, stay tuned because we're building up a lot of momentum surrounding that. And it's Dr. Irene Kasmers in Harbor Springs. Okay, I don't know if I know Dr. Kasmers, but so great to have you in rheumatology, and definitely continuing your personal education is phenomenal. And Barbara, again, as we start wrapping up, I'm working with a hospital to develop protocol for AS admissions and treatment differences than the 80-20 rule. Wow. That is fascinating.
That's fantastic.
Wow. I mean,
we'll have to hook her up with IFAA, Kevin, and Tiffany.
Yes. And so IFAA, you want to spell the acronym?
I was just going to say, I was hoping you would know it. The International Foundation of Autoimmune Awareness. It's a large patient organization on all the different types of autoimmune diseases. And actually, Tiffany, the CEO, has AS as well. Mm-hmm. And so I'll make sure I get your information, Barbara, and we'll definitely get you connected. We'd love to connect with you.
And I have to give you kudos because you're taking and leveraging your position of an IT person in a hospital through networking and sharing your story, and you're opening up things that will potentially change the outcomes of other patients with AS as a result of it. And just kudos for that. I mean, that's, you're in the game and you're making it happen. So nice job. Awesome. Well, I think we're to the point where we need to wrap things up because we have conference that we need to produce tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And so our work doesn't end for a while. tonight. But just thank you, Amy, Sadie, and Katrina for hopping on here, and we just also appreciate the RNS board for entrusting us with their channel tonight as we hijack it and do some of our own thing. Any closing thoughts, ladies?
If you're not coming to conference, sign up. Meet us
right.
there tomorrow morning.
Remember,
Yes.
what while supplies last. I know that we don't have a lot of these left, but remember what Norma said. The conference in the box was like a Christmas gift that was filled with so many fun and useful treats. It was such a great surprise that it's, if nothing else, sign up for the box. The box is super cool.
But there's
Well
more.
worth it.
There's more inside.
Yep. Awesome. Amy, what do you think?
I think this has been a blast. I am so thankful to the RNS board for letting us do a Lions Den takeover on their town hall tonight and give them some rest. And I'm looking forward to the rest of conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. Sadie, you got everything lined up for tomorrow? We good?
All of our education sessions are ready to go. I am looking forward to some more camaraderie within the rheumatology nursing community. I'm looking forward to learning more as a patient, and really excited for all of the engagement, to hear your questions, and just come, please. If you're not there, this is gold standard platinum star conference.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And if you come, you can give us some of the the floating monkey emojis, our favorite. So
Yeah, people I think are doing that just for fun sometimes because it's just a fun thing to do.
awesome.
You can also give hearts too.
Yeah, we take hearts.
we like hearts.
We take hearts. Take hearts. So, well, thank you everyone for joining us, and conference attendees. We will see you in the morning. We're going to roll out today. We have these great slideshows, and this is a slideshow from past conferences. Just hope you enjoy this as we conclude this broadcast. So, good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Have a great night.